Alright, hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned Albino Plays the Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy Episode 8. Yes, I do believe it's 8. Okay, we're getting right back into it, man. We are in a scuffle of mental gymnastics with the fingerprints going on right now, so let's keep it going. What if the killer, the defendant, was wearing gloves? Gotta admit, I didn't think of that, Apollo. Well, Mr. Justice? Could the killer have been wearing gloves? No way. But we're gonna have to have some evidence to prove that. Okay, let's see. Memento of Ryan Sky, San Francisco, with that match prints. How would we know? Oops, that is my phone alarm. Let me put a stop to that real quick. Objection! It says fingerprints were wiped. How do we... but... that does not actually, like... that's just hearsay based on... oh, because the knife had Walkie's prints on it. Ooh, okay. No way. The record of the murder weapon is very clear about one thing. The fingerprints were wiped, which means some trace of prints remained. Which contradicts your testimony. If everything happened as you say it did, he wouldn't have had time to wipe the pistol. That may be, but it does not change what I saw. The killer, the defendant, he threw down the murderous weapon from his hand and fled. And this pistol was found at the scene of the crime, strongly suggesting that this was the weapon he disposed of. That sounds solid to me. Well, Air Forehead, any of your precious objections? What gives, Apollo? Let's see that voice training go to work. You know, I've only recently realized something. No matter how much you train your voice, it doesn't matter if you have nothing to say. What do you mean, nothing to say? Isn't it obvious from what the witness just said? Huh? Isn't what obvious? When he restated what he saw just now, he said he saw Walkie drop a murderous weapon. But that's not the same as being 100% sure of what Walkie threw away. You're right. He's just confused because a pistol was found at the scene. Poor Mr. Stickler. It must be hard to be so perfect and yet so wrong. Well, it can be said that I'm quite offended. While it is indeed true that once in my youth I wrote a love letter in my own blood that was seized by the teacher and posted on the blackboard for all to see, and for this the appellation poor might well be prefixed to my name, yet as for the issue at hand... What we can say for certain is that the witness saw the killer throw something. Does the defense have anything to say about this? Well, if what he threw wasn't a pistol, then it had to be something else. At least one person on the defense team seems to be thinking. Gah, I'll wipe that smile off your pretty face, Gavin. Perhaps you can inform the court as to the nature of this something else. What did the killer throw away before fleeing the scene? You see, it had to be the knife. Is that a sword? I saw one of those on the late-night movie last night. Great, a sleep-deprived judge. This knife was found at the scene of the crime, with the defendant's prints on it. His prints? This single piece of evidence proves two important things. One, that what the defendant threw down wasn't a pistol. Two, that the defendant wasn't wearing gloves. Indeed. Oh, Air Forehead? You're forgetting two other things you've just proven. Huh? One, that the man the witness saw was the defendant, Mr. Waki Kitaki. Two, that the defendant was holding a knife with the intent of harming the victim. Oh. Indeed. Gah, never underestimate a Gavin is the lesson here. This court is of the opinion that our witness is fond of making assumptions. In that light, I believe it would behoove us to hear about what really occurred. With less assuming, please. It is always the same with you people. Mark left the house on foot, and 5 minutes later his brother left after him. How long would it take for Mark's brother to catch up to him? Assuming that Mark never had to stop for a traffic light. Assuming. Yes, that's what I said. Assuming. As if that were a probable situation at all. Yet here you are, assuming that my assumption is no better. What this court assumes is that the witness will testify as to what happened after the shot was fired. Alright, I cannot prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police. Oh, is this your phone? Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else. Why didn't you chase the killer? That's a stupid question to ask. He was, as you say, a killer. Of course, I could have run him down, yet what would he have done when cornered? Sadly, it takes more than an aptitude for solving quadratic equations to know that. Did the testimony earlier not prove the defendant's presence at the scene? And do we not also now know that there was no one else there? It seems clear that we have our killer. Does it not? Does it not, Mr. Justice? I better find a way to take this testimony down quick. And so we shall, motherfucker. Let's do this. Alright, could not prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I use my cell phone to call the police. Let's press that. Wasn't your first thought to call an ambulance? It can be said that I have dabbled in medicine. The injury I witnessed, namely a single shot to the head, tends to result in death. Ergo, there was no need for me to call an ambulance. Oh, a perfect syllogism. A proof in 3 parts. Exquisite, simply exquisite. He actually looks like he's gonna cry. Okay, well that didn't help me. Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else. Let's go back to the beginning and press everything. Which way did the killer run? By that time, it was clear the killer had noticed me. Naturally, he ran in the opposite direction. That would mean he ran in the opposite direction from the Kitaki mansion. Achtung! Don't even think about pointing out that he was going away from his home. All he had to do was look back once he was out of sight. How did he know that's where I was going? We're gonna simply leave the scene in good conscience. You were certainly composed for someone who had just witnessed a killing. If one is to devote one's life to the pursuit of science, one must never flinch at the sight of a little blood, nor be so moved by a chemical discovery that one drops one's flask upon the lab room floor. Ooh, cool answer, very cool. So nothing strange about how he acted. Trucy looks like she has something to say. Though Trucy should be a defense attorney. Until the police arrived at the scene 10 minutes later, I saw no one else. Can you tell us in detail about these 10 minutes? I stood in a state of heightened awareness. Anything could happen at any moment. Anyone could appear from any direction. Is that all? No one came. Nothing happened at all. I saw it all, which is to say, I saw nothing. It was late at night. It's not odd to think there would be few people around in the park. So he just stood there watching? Not much to go on there. Trucy, if you've got something to say, by all means say it. I can't find a single problem with that testimony. Had enough at last, Air Forehead? Maybe it's time to back off a bit? Well, of course not. But let me save just in case. No. The defense still has some questions that demand answers, Your Honor. Your opinion, Prosecutor Gavin? Oh, let him play attorney until he's satisfied, I say. I will amuse myself by composing my next smash hit in my head. Very well. You may continue with the cross-examination. She wants to say something, but I got nothing, man. Let's look at the court record here. Shows the area in Mr. Wright's office. It also shows the People Park. There's 2 exits out of People Park. Do I just present the phone to him? But it's not like it's counter-arguing anything. You know what I mean? Let me just try... Well, that is just perfect. What if I back off a bit? Let me just see what happens. There's nothing fishy about that testimony at all. It appears there are no objections to the witness's current testimony. There are any number of ways to explain the lack of prints on the pistol, I assure you. Perhaps the killer really was wearing gloves, which wiped the previous user's prints off. Then, after the deed was done, this fell out of his pocket as he was throwing the gun away. A mistake befitting of a small-time punk, in my opinion. No. No! It seems we've come to the end of the line here. No, that can't be all. How unfortunate. It seems that you weren't cut out to stand on the same stage as me. Were you, Air Forehead? I believe this brings the cross-examination to a close. This court will now declare a verdict for the defendant, Waki Kataki. I'm only still going just in case there's like a, but wait! Just like that. Hello? Trucy? Nobody move! What's the meaning of this? Who are you? There'll be no verdict in this court, not yet. Wait, are you one of the Katakis? The Katakis? You mean the notorious gangsters? If you don't want to see me give the pretty little girl a new smile, do as I say. Adjourn the court for 20 minutes. What? This court will not bow to pressure from the likes of... Air Judge. I see little point in further aggravating this gentleman. Recess, 20 minutes, or I promise you'll regret it. Wait, how did he disappear so fast? So that was the right thing to do, was to back off. Come to the defendant lobby, Apollo. I suppose I have no choice but to adjourn for a 20-minute recess. Bailiff, catch that mysterious man. Yeah, let's save our current progress, because I'm out here killing it, man. I'm out here freaking killing it. Like, frick, bro. Continue on to the next chapter. There's a next chapter, dude? We're still on the same case. Alright, June 16th, 11:17 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Trucy! Trucy? You move quick, Apollo. Good show, good show. Trucy, you're okay. I thought... Don't cry, Apollo. Those good-for-nothing gangsters. There are some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges. Wait, just calm down, Apollo. Or else... Are you fucking serious? What the heck is that? Surprised? This is one of my best tricks, the amazing Mr. Hat. You look marvelous, darling. He's a big hit on stage at the Wonder Bar. Yes, I am a big hit. Well, what do you think? Do you like it? You mean you... Trucy, there are some things you just don't do. I'm pressing charges. Apollo, now is not the time to be threatening me. It's you who's being threatened here. Huh? Remember what you said to Waki's father yesterday? You promised you'd save his son. But that testimony was rock solid. What are you suggesting I do? Look, once the judge declares a verdict, it's all over. If I can use my talent to stop that from happening, I will. Trucy, no more staged abductions, please. I'm not talking about magic, Apollo. I know when the witness isn't confident. I can perceive what he's feeling. It might not mean anything, but it's all we've got. You can see what he's feeling? Now, come on, Apollo, you did the same thing, bro. You gotta tap into your psychicness. Think back to the times when there was a contradiction in his testimony. All the times. All the times there was a contradiction? Well, I think I remember them, sure. There were 2 times when he made statements he wasn't confident in, and each time there was a contradiction. In his hand he held Yes, a pistol. It was pointed at the man pulling the stand. Tossing the pistol aside, he fled from the scene. He said the man tossed aside a pistol, but it turned out he wasn't sure, and sure enough, there was a contradiction. Well, that's true, but how does that help us? Didn't you notice anything? Whenever he made a statement he wasn't confident in, he displayed a certain habit. In his hand, he held, yes, a pistol. Yes, he was flipping through his book. Did you see it? The very moment he said the word pistol, his fingers got all tense, and he fiddled with the corner of the page in his book. How am I supposed to see that? Well, I could see it. How else do you think Daddy went 7 years without losing a game of poker? I always sat next to Daddy during big matches. I could see what his opponents were feeling. You mean that's how Mr. Wright won all those games? It's not cheating, officially. I wasn't looking at their hands or anything. And I wasn't there all the time either. Daddy's quite good at poker, after all, but not good enough to go undefeated that long. Great, so he cheated. But what does that do for us? I don't believe this. You have to listen to his testimony one more time. No, scratch that. You have to watch his testimony. Perceive the truth. Watch a testimony? Perceive the truth? The only thing I'm perceiving is that I'm gonna lose. Not true. Daddy said so. He said you have the power, Apollo. Mr. Wright said that? Watch the testimony. Perceive his true feelings. Is she serious? Time's up. Sorry, I can't think of any other way out of this one, Apollo. What was that she said before the trial started? Huh, Mr. Wright's not here today? He said his old foot injury was acting up. Yes, he smiled when he said we'd be fine as long as you're there, Trucy. Is this what he meant by us being fine? Well, methods aside, she did avoid one guilty verdict already today. Time to show this court what I'm made of. Get ready for justice. Let's do it. Apollo. You know, I'm starting to think I can do this. I knew you could do it all along. Oh, one more thing. Try to cover for Mr. Hat as best you can. I just flew in from the coast and boy are my arms tired. Right. Court is now back in session. Right, we're fine. Ahem. I'd like to say to the young lady standing next to you, Mr. Justice. Oh, you mean me? Don't you have anything to report? Anything concerning the mysterious phantom in the silk top hat? Oh, right, him. Don't worry about him. I settled that. You settled that? Yes, it was an out-of-court settlement. Right. Perhaps Fräulein would have us believe it was nothing more than a passing dream. A fantastic illusion. Now you see it, now you don't. Am I right? I think he's onto me. I wish he would stop being so cool. Let us dispense with these niceties and get straight to the matter. What are your plans for our gifted witness? Oh, what are your plans for our gifted witness? Right. The defense would like to request another cross-examination. Because I forgot to ask something. There was no issue with the witness's previous testimony. I will grant your request, however, but this court will not permit stalling for time. Understood, Your Honor. Don't forget, Apollo. When he isn't sure about something, he has a habit of fiddling with his book. Alright, let's see. Could not prevent the killer from leaving the scene, nor could I simply leave the scene in good conscience. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police. This is that. So it does have to do with his phone. We're gonna have to do it again. But like, I was right the first time, man. I'm not sure I'm qualified to watch testimonies after all. Focus, Apollo. Find his weak spot. Focus. If only it were that easy. My ears hear what he says, my eyes see his expression. Do I have to do something more? What other senses do I have? What's this? My bracelet. He has a magic bracelet? What's going on? My bracelet feels different somehow. This has happened to you before, you idiot. I think Daddy was right. You can see it, can't you, Apollo? You're almost there. Find the weak spot in his testimony. I know this sounds crazy, but my bracelet is trying to tell me something. I could not prevent the killer, nor could I simply leave the scene. Ergo, you used your cell phone to call the police. But you didn't. Well, so what do I do then? Like, I present it with my bracelet? I don't have that as a thing. Like, we already pressed this once. So what do you want me to do here? I guess we'll press the statement. So you called immediately after witnessing the murder? The police undoubtedly have a record of the call. Why not check with them? Wait, Apollo. This has to be it. Wait, you mean his habit? Don't forget, Apollo. When he isn't sure about something, he has a habit of fiddling with his book. Yeah, you just said that. You don't have to flashback that soon. The only time he even had the book open was here. Which means this is the place to look for this habit. I don't know how I know, but I know. Know what? It's my bracelet. It's different somehow. I can feel it reacting to something about the witness. Your bracelet? I'm not sure I get this focus stuff you were talking about, Trucy, but I have a feeling that trusting my bracelet is the way to go. Just believe in the heart of the cards, Yugi. Okay, I just need to touch my bracelet with triangle as it reacts to the testimony. What's going on? I can see the witness's face, his expression so clearly. It's filling my mind. I can see nothing else, hear nothing else. Apollo? Trucy, what's happening to me? This is what I meant by focusing. Focusing? In this state, you can see everything, Apollo, everything the witness does. That's great, but this is kind of freaking me out. Just look for Mr. Stickler's twitch, his habit. You remember it, right? Sure, when he says something he's not sure of, he fiddles with a page of his book. You got it. Right now, you're looking at the witness's face. And your eyes are sort of bugging out. I'll bet they are. First, move your focus of attention down to Mr. Stickler's hand. His hand? You know what to look for now, but you have to be looking at the right place. She's right. I can only see his face like this. Time to try changing my viewpoint. Mr. Stickler. Mind if I dress you down with my eyes? Why don't we go a little lower than your hand? Oh, they won't let me. Okay, well. Oh, okay. Perfect. Now you're really ready. Ready for what? Ready to perceive the truth behind the twitch. Perceive? Try listening to the witness talk as you focus. Then watch for his habit. Right, you mean when he fiddles with the page. That's right. That's your signal to look closer, to perceive with triangle. They are really over-explaining this shit. Find his weak spot, and I guarantee we'll be able to give him the royal flush. Spoken like a true pokerhead's daughter. I'm a magician, thank you very much. So I have to pay attention to his words, and his fingers. Don't worry if you miss it, you can always try again. Right. Look out, nervous twitch, here comes justice. Okay, I'm gonna save here. Oh, they will not let me, okay. Ergo, I used my cell phone to call the police. Oh, ho, 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 I see. Let us hear again. Ergo, I use my right there, bitch. Well, I used my. Okay, wait, that's the part. Yeah, okay. So it doesn't have to be right over the exact word. I saw it just now. I could see it. Mr. Justice, do you have something to say? All this banging of desks, it's quite bad for my circulation, you know. Mr. Stickler, allow me to ask you a simple question. Why did you fiddle with the page of your book just now? The very moment you mentioned your cell phone. What are you talking about? I'm curious now about this cell phone of yours. Mind if I ask a few questions? What to ask? Ask to see his phone. Mr. Stickler, please show me your cell phone. Why? Whatever for? Show me and you'll find out. Well, I can't. I don't have it, you see. You don't have it? Mr. Stickler, is this your cell phone? Yow! Where did you get that? That's the phone from yesterday. Ooh, was Mr. Stickler the driver of the core? Look, a cell phone. Someone dropped it beneath his tire. If the car moved, it would be crushed for sure. I wonder if it belongs to the doctor here. How strange, Mr. Stickler. Can you explain why your cell phone is sitting here in my hand at this very moment? Wait a minute, what is the meaning of this? This cell phone was found yesterday in the Maractus Clinic garage. The Maractus, why, that's where the victim lived. Yeah, that's impossible. Mr. Stickler, you lied to the court, didn't you? If your cell phone is here, how could you have called the police? Is this dude the killer? I would not expect it. I would not expect a man of this lack of caliber to be able to pull something off so heinous. It's true. I didn't have my cell phone that night. That is why it can be said that I called the police from a public payphone. A payphone? So you didn't call on your cell phone after all. Just where was this payphone located, Mr. Stickler? Well, to indicate it with a startlingly high degree of accuracy, it was right around here. That's quite a ways from the park. But why did you lie? There can only be one reason. He didn't want the court to know he had lost his cell phone, because it was found in the victim's garage. What are you saying? Mr. Stickler, you broke into the Maractus Clinic garage on the night of the murder. This cell phone tells all. But that's ridiculous. That makes it sound like I snuck into this fellow's garage to commit some crime, as though I were trying to kill him. Well, Dr. Maractus was killed that night. Well, yes, but no. This line of reasoning has to be against the rules. Yes, it's true. I lost my cell phone, but you can't prove that I lost it that night. Well, Mr. Justice, if that cell phone was dropped the night of the murder, it does raise considerable suspicions as to a connection with the crime. Now's your chance, Apollo. Connect Mr. Stickler to the crime. Okay, I'm going to do it, but let me save first. Oh, he's already connected enough. I just have to prove it. Well, do I have a piece of evidence that can do the job? Can I prove the cell phone was dropped on the night of the murder? Can we? Property of Wesley Stickler, we know that. The cell phone does have a watch on it. Was the time, like... Let me examine this again. Is this stopped? Watch strap. It's kind of odd, though. I want to know the time, you just look at the phone itself. Hey, you're right, sharp. Thanks. So what does that tell you? The owner of this phone doesn't think that it details. They dropped their phone. Did the watch stop when they... Like, this doesn't look broken is the thing. So I don't know if that is it. It was dropped on the night of the murder. Torn off the car that hit Mr. Wright Fitt's car at the Maractus Clinic. We could use the mirror because they mentioned the thing about, like, if the car moved, then the phone would have been smashed. But the car didn't move, which means it was dropped on the night of the car, like after the car or something like that. Okay, so I think we're either going to go with the phone or the mirror. Maybe we'll do the mirror first. That probably makes the most sense if I had to guess. Okay, did I save already? Well, I'm going to save again just to make sure, okay? I'm gonna show evidence. Of course I have evidence. Ooh, I like your swagger, Air Forehead. Hit it. The court will see this evidence, Mr. Justice. Hit it, as they say. The evidence that proves the cell phone was dropped on the night of the murder is... Oh, damn. I'm really fucking smart. Ooh, come on. All right. That's a side view mirror. As it so happens, Dr. Maractus's car was in an accident that took place the night of the murder. An accident? An accident? An accident. It happened a little after 9 p.m., just outside People Park, our murder scene. Dr. Maractus's car hit a pedestrian. What are you trying to say? From the absence of a mirror, it's clear that the car was parked after the accident, which means it was parked there after 9 p.m. on the night of the murder. If your cell phone had been dropped before the car was parked in that garage, then it would have been crushed. After all, it was lying on the ground right under the wheel. Ergo, Mr. Stickler, the only time you could have dropped this in that garage was after 9 p.m. the night of the murder in the park. Mr. Stickler, you know what this means? You did break into the victim's garage that night. This is most unexpected, Mr. Justice. Are you naming the witness as a suspect in the murder of Pal Maractus? No, stop. This is too much. This can't be happening. Prosecutor, say something. I suppose it is worth saying this. No connection has been found between Wesley Stickler and Pal Maractus. That is, other than this. I believe our next testimony will be most revelatory. Is the witness prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I know that face. That's the face of guilt. That night, yes, I went to the supermarket. I must have dropped my cell phone on my way back. And when I was walking through the park, I happened to witness the crime. I saw the killer, the victim, the stand, all as clear as day. It was him. I saw the defendant at the scene. Yes, but your cell phone was lying in a garage. Yes. Well, as you can see, my model of cell phone has a defect. It is given to rolling. It's quite a pain when I drop it alongside the road, you know. Looks like a normal cell phone to me. In any case, Mr. Justice, the cross-examination, please. That's funny. My bracelet didn't react at all during that testimony. His nervous habit must not be acting up. I didn't sense anything either, actually. Looks like you're on your own this time around. Right, no problem. I hope. Here comes justice. Well, that just means we have to press the statements, because the ones that are currently available to us are not necessarily disprovable. Perhaps. Alright, that night, yes, I went to the supermarket. Let's just do a quick little save here, man. Do a little quick supermarket. And press. So you went shopping, which means you were holding a grocery bag when you witnessed the murder taking place? Well, yes, of course. Incidentally, the prosecution has received no report of this domestic detail. Mr. Stickler, can you explain yourself? No, I mean, yes, I did go shopping, really. I walked around the supermarket trying out the free samples. It's a deeply spiritual time for me. I'm sure the store clerks would disagree. Do you think sampling free food counts as a religion? In any case, that night, I sampled to my heart's content and was on my way back home, yes? I must have dropped my cell phone on my way back from the Do we know where the supermarket is? Maractus Clinic. Eldoon's house. The supermarket is not on this map. But presumably it's above the Maractus Clinic. Even though that doesn't... I don't know. Like, there's no... It does... I don't know. I don't know, man. Alright, must have dropped my cell phone on my way back. Press! That's when you passed in front of the Maractus Clinic? Why, yes, that's correct. That was a pretty suspicious pause there. Mr. Stickler, do you think you could be a bit more specific? Please show us the exact route you took on the night of the murder. Of course. Oh, this is it, bro. The supermarket is here, along the main road. On my way home from there. Takes me past the Maractus Clinic. This is probably when I dropped my cell phone. Yet, woe is I walked on, unaware of my loss. And walked right into that fateful park. Ooh, that's gonna cause... Okay, so that's gonna cause an issue with the, like, him turned his head and, like, hits the wrong temple again, because now his position is changed. Oh, I understand. And when I was walking through the park, I happened to witness the crime. Should we use the map to press this one? Let me just give it a little college try, okay? There's a couple things that we could try to present here. We could present the map. Witness this statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor. No. Okay. That's gonna be a quick load. Then we're gonna use the right temple here based on... I mean, he should have, like, added that route to his testimony so I could specifically negate that. We'll use the autopsy report. That statement contradicts this evidence. Oh, it does? It does. I'm just ahead of you guys. Come on. I am too erudite for this case, as evidenced by my use of the word erudite. Okay. And when I was walking through the park, I happened to witness that crime. Is this the one we need to present those things with? I mean, let's try pressing this. Maybe this will add something to the testimony. Yes. Which entrance did you enter the park from? Well, to be exact, one might say that I went in from the entrance closest to the Maractus Clinic. The same entrance our victim used. Did you notice anything when you entered? Wheel marks from a noodle stand, for instance? I have no recollection of such a thing, no. Yet, though I might have missed the tracks, I could not miss what happened next. I am a keen observer of the obvious, you might say. Okay, so that didn't... All as clear as day. It was nighttime, though. So is that why we can't really, like, press that, I guess? Or we can't really present that. There's no evidence. It's like, bro, it was nighttime. Although, actually, yes, I guess that we could. This seems like a quibble, though. Like, that's just like, oh, well, it's a turn of phrase, okay? But I will still try it. Because that's just who I am. Clear as day, but the time of death was night, you idiot. Oops. Okay, yeah, well, I mean, I kind of expected that. Well, you never know with games like this, you gotta try everything. So let's press this as well. This part of the testimony is the key, I know it. Should I press him about the killer, the victim, or the noodle stand? Oh. Press him about the noodle stand. Which way was it facing? Do you happen to remember the noodle stand? Quite well, yes. For a student of the sciences, keen observation and healthy curiosity are vital. I remember everything. I could even read the sign. I believe it said, noodle. Yes, that was it. That's huge. For remembering something quite well, it sure took you a while to tell us. And thank you for telling us that a noodle stand sells noodles. Very enlightening. Well, Mr. Justice? What about that sign? Could that be important? Very important. So the sign on the noodle stand said noodle? It appears the defense has just obtained a vital piece of testimony. Is this noodle stand's broth really that delicious? I'll have to go sample the wares one of these days. I think that's worth adding to the testimony as well. Whatever sort of noodles that stand sells, it can't match up to IVU's cafeteria. Some apply to the school merely for a taste of our smart noodles. I wouldn't mind a taste of that myself. The sign on the stand the victim was pulling, it said noodle. Yes, this is going to contradict your previous testimony. Your previous testimony is gonna get so contradicted, bro. Oh my god, though, your testimony is so fact. So that would be the autopsy report, because that's what is related to your shit. Huh? Again, this is what I get for being ahead. Okay, so this would be the map then? Oh, the noodle stand itself, of course! I mean, I feel like the things that I said should also work, because they're related in the same way. They're like, they all lead to the same conclusion. And you're absolutely sure the sign read noodle? Oh, it's the fact that he's lying, because the sign doesn't say noodle on it. It says Eldoon. He read it backwards like a fucking dimwit. Oh, man. Why, just last week my professor offered me this praise. At least you have good eyesight, Stickler. I'll give you that. It read, without a doubt, noodle. I see. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Is that pity I see in your eyes? Let's take a look at our map, shall we? So you're claiming that when you saw the sign, you were standing here, was it? Although it would have been a bit hard to read the sign from this spot. You think so? Mr. Stickler, I'd like you to please take another look at the stand, and to carefully read what the sign says. See, the sign actually states the name of the stand's owner, Eldoons. Inconceivable, Bazinga! I'm certain it was definitely noodle for sure, positive. I'm afraid your professor was wrong about that eyesight. I wouldn't be so quick to jump to that conclusion. The sign he saw changes everything. The witness says the sign said noodle. And he saw it right. Ah, shit. I don't know where he's going with this. Like he saw it out of a mirror or something? It's like even if he saw it from the wrong side, you still wouldn't read the word backwards. And he saw it right. What would you say if I told you that there is one spot from which the sign would be read the way Mr. Stickler claims? What? Mr. Justice, show us this spot. The witness actually viewed the stand from this location. Here? The witness was standing here, on the opposite side. How do you know that? When viewed from the south, the sign on the stand reads Eldoons, as we know. However... Oh, it does? Oh, I did not know that. I didn't know they were different on the other side. Observe the other side of the stand. Oh, this side says noodle. Exactly. The name of the stand is split between the front and back signs. Damn it, dude, I was not careful enough. I should have been more methodical, more meticulous, more masturbatory. And then I would have gotten it. Mr. Stickler, you lied to the court. You witnessed the crime from the northern side of the park, not the south. Yowza, you got me. So what? So what? What does it matter if he saw the killing from the north or the south side? It makes no difference at all. He's right. Travel far enough to the south and you will end up going north. Viewed on a global scale, directions are utterly without meaning. Actually, maybe he's right. What does it change? What do you mean? We've already been over this. It changes everything, Apollo, you fucking idiot. Trucy? Remember his testimony from before, you stupid bitch? Though to be honest, I'm a little scared of where this is leading. The killer and the victim are facing each other here. Then, at the moment the killer raises his weapon, Mr. Stickler shouts. At which point the victim turns his head to look, and the killer fires his pistol. That's why the bullet hit him in the right temple. No contradictions, right? Right, but if Mr. Stickler was standing on the north side of the park, that reverses the whole scenario. Completely. If Mr. Stickler shouts from where he is now, "Halt! Put down that gun!" and the victim looks in his direction, the bullet would have to hit his left temple. In other words, someone standing at point K couldn't shoot the victim in his right temple. It's impossible. That's right. So now that we know that Mr. Stickler was standing on the northern side, the wound location takes on an entirely different meaning. Indeed, you are absolutely correct, Fräulein. What meaning? The entry wound was on the right side of the victim's head, correct? Well, the right side of the victim's head is north. North. Ah, so that means that he was the shooter, whereas Wakikataki was just like getting in an argument, like maybe even about to kill him. But the college student beat him to it, but why? But that's where the witness, Wesley Stickler, was standing. Correct. So if he was standing to the north, then the only person here who could have shot the victim in the right temple was Mr. Stickler himself. Yo! Order, order, order! Ooh, that's a good place to stop. That's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.